If you are working in a cloud edition of Qlik Sense, there are two approaches to loading data files into an app, which we will discuss. First, you can click the Add New button and select this item from the resulting drop-down menu in order to create a new app. Then provide the app with a name, like Data Load Tutorial. We will leave the app in your personal space, and for the sake of saving time, we will leave the description and tags blank. With the Open App box checked, we can click the Create button. Next, we will click on the Add Data from Files and Other Sources option, and the view presented affords options for gaining access to data from a variety of sources. In order to load data into the app, we could use the drop target presented here, or we could click on the Data Files option and select the Data Files folder shortcut in order to arrive at a drop target. Now we can locate the single data table.xlsx example file and drag and drop it onto the target. Then view the preview of the data table, and click the Next button to complete the data load process. You can see that a single data table from that file was successfully loaded. If we return to the Cloud Hub, we can explore another option for loading data. Clicking on the Add New button presents the options to add new data from a data file or via a new data connection. Let's try adding a data file to the cloud. This time, let's drag and drop the Excel file titled Survey Data onto the target. Then click the Upload button. Now that the upload is complete, the data is available to any apps we create in the cloud. Therefore, we can click the Add New button in order to create another new analytics app. We will provide this app with the name Load Data from Cloud. Again, we will leave the app in your personal space and leave the description and tags blank. After we click the Create button, the app will open, and we can click on the Add Data from Files and Other Sources option. This time we will click on the Data Files option and click on the Data Files folder icon. This reveals the Survey Data Excel file we just uploaded. Interestingly, the single data table Excel file we loaded directly into the previous app is also present on this list. So it would appear that either process of uploading data files, either from the hub or directly into a particular app, results in the same cloud storage location for these data files. Consequently, any of these data files are available for use across multiple apps. If we continue to select the Survey Data Excel file, we get a preview of the data table, and we can click the Next button in order to complete the data load process. And you can see that the single data table from that file was successfully loaded. Let's return to the hub. Then we can navigate to the Catalog view and reopen the first of the two apps we created, titled Data Load Tutorial. And from the app overview, click to open the blank new sheet which was created when we completed the process of loading the single data table Excel file. And we can begin to consider building visualizations. However, what if our data model included more than one data table? Let's proceed to the Data Manager button on the Quick Access menu in order to change our view to the Data Manager. When the data model is presented, you will see that we have loaded only a single table into this app, and that table is represented by a bubble. We could use the Add Data button here in the Data Manager view. However, another option is to use the navigation menu to open the Data Load Editor view in a new tab. So we can use the approach of loading data using the Script Editor workflow path. Notice that there are currently two sections here in the Data Load Editor view. The main section contains statements which define formatting options within the app. The auto-generated section was created when we loaded data using the Add Data from Files and Other Sources option. Let's click the plus symbol to create a new section, then drag this section to appear above the auto-generated section. Now we can use the existing data connection titled Data Files to click on the Select Data icon in order to launch a dialog which includes a drop target. After dragging and dropping the file titled products.txt onto the target, we will need to click on the products.txt file name, click the Select button, review the preview of the data table and the data load script, and click the button to insert the script. Once the load script for the products data table is visible in this dialog, we can click the Load Data button to complete the process. When we click Close, and close this tab in order to return to the tab with the Data Manager view, you can see that another bubble representing the products table has been added to the view. Let's add another data source to this app which contains multiple data tables. We can click the plus symbol in the Data Manager view to add data from files and other sources. From this familiar screen, we will drag and drop the file titled Multiple Data Tables onto this drop target, which will result in this view. Here, each table in the Excel workbook is listed, and we can check the boxes next to all of the tables before clicking on the Next button. Now that there are multiple data tables in the Qlik Sense environment, we are required to indicate which tables should be associated to create our data model. But first, we need to consider that the bubble representing the products table was added using the script editor workflow, not the add data workflow. In order to use the Data Manager features, we will need to synchronize scripted tables. Now the Recommended Associations panel presents a list of associations which have been recommended based upon an examination of field names and field contents in an attempt to correctly identify key fields to associate data tables. In this example, clicking the Apply All button will associate the tables correctly to form the data model supplied by this data source. The final step of the data load process is to click on the Load Data button. Now we have a complete data model which we can use to develop visualizations, and you understand the general process for loading data into a Qlik Sense app. This represents the end of this video. Please close this browser